really. And it was quite an experience and a way to feel the Maine and the fans. And they're just screaming, you know. They're all hanging out in the hotels, hiding behind curtains in the corridors. And everywhere we went, we got followed. First time we played in the Buddha Hall in Tokyo. I mean, the noise was just in a world of rock. Some legends command the spotlight, while others quietly shape history from the shadows. John Deacon, Queen's bassist, was one of those quiet geniuses whose music spoke louder than any words. From crafting timeless hits to stepping away from fame after Freddie Mercury's death, his story is one of brilliance, loyalty, and quiet grief. Today, we dive into the life of the man who completed Queen, shaped its sound, and chose silence over the spotlight. Stick around as we unpack the journey of John Deacon and the bond he shared with Freddie Mercury that changed music forever. Both I started doing an MSc and playing a band, and the band took off. So I went with it, you know, and at least they guaranteed to pay us 20 quid a week. So it was worth having to go. And then suddenly it sort of seems to snowball. It takes over your life, and it's carried on ever since. John Deacon was born in Leicester, England, in 1951, with a quiet nature that masked a curious mind and a love for electronics. From modifying tape recorders to building gadgets, his passion for tinkering started early. While excelling in school, John found a love for soul music, something that lit a spark within him beyond textbooks. At just 14, he joined his first band, The Opposition, initially playing rhythm guitar before switching to bass after the bassist was removed. His early experiences laid the foundation for a musician who combined technical knowledge with musical talent, forming the core of his identity. Little did he know that his ability to blend electronics with music would later help shape the sound of one of the world's most iconic rock bands. Even before meeting Queen, John Deacon was building a quiet legacy of discipline, curiosity, and a deep love for music that would guide him forever. It was a very strange song to record, in a way, because we actually did it in sections. I mean, it was Freddie's idea, I think, you know, and I remember doing one recording session in Rockfield where Freddie was saying, right, these are the notes, and it goes, and it seemed to have no connection with anything, but he had all the ideas of what he wanted to go on top. In 1969, John Deacon took a decisive step toward a stable future, enrolling at Chelsea College in London to study electrical engineering. Believing his musical journey might have ended, he left his bass guitar at home, focusing entirely on academics. However, fate had other plans. In September that year, John attended a Deep Purple concert at the Royal Albert Hall, an experience that reawakened his passion for music. Watching the fusion of rock and orchestral arrangements left a deep impression on him, stirring the musician within despite his academic pursuits. Though he remained committed to his studies, the spark for performing and creating music grew stronger. This pivotal moment showed that while John was practical about life, the call of music was too strong to ignore. The seeds were sown for a return to music, setting the stage for the life-changing chapter that awaited him in the vibrant music scene of London. Because they had been going for 6 months, but they had a few different bass players. And so I joined, and I used to keep very out of it really in a way. And the three of them used to argue like mad all the time, and I just used to, you know, and they said, "Come on, John, why don't you join in?" I said, you know, I just didn't want to get involved really with arguments. In early 1971, John Deacon's life took a pivotal turn when he met Roger Taylor and Brian May at a disco, learning that Queen was looking for a bassist. Initially unimpressed by Queen's early performances, John eventually agreed to audition. His calm, focused demeanor, musical skill, and knowledge of electronics impressed the band, making him the final crucial piece in completing Queen. At just 19, John brought balance to a group of big personalities, complementing Freddie Mercury's dynamic stage presence with his grounded energy. His first performance with Queen in June 1971 marked the start of a legendary journey, where John's quiet strength and musical instincts would help shape the band's iconic sound. His technical expertise allowed Queen to refine their equipment during their early days when resources were tight. This moment not only completed the lineup, but also laid the foundation for a musical legacy that would resonate across generations worldwide. When I did start with a band, Freddie and Brian used to be the main songwriters. They used to write individually, though, most of the time, and then Roger wrote one really. I think he had one on the first album. So Brian and Freddie were the strong force on the compositional side, but Roger had lots of other ideas on behalf of the overall image of band and how to actually, be a successful rock band. So, I mean, there was not really a leader and such because no one was really actually stating everything that could be done. And then as the years went on, we all started to contribute, on the songwriting side, which helped a lot to sort of balance out a bit. John Deacon's role in Queen was far more significant than many fans realize. While he remained quiet during interviews and on stage, his musical instincts and technical skills became essential to the band's success. John didn't just play bass. He understood the nuances of the band's sound and how to enhance it through his engineering background, helping improve the band's equipment and live performance setups. His calm presence balanced the flamboyant energy of Freddie Mercury and the rest of the band, providing stability in both music and decision-making. John's contributions were often understated, yet they were integral to Queen's journey, particularly during moments when the band needed grounding energy amidst the chaos of tours and recording sessions. His ability to merge his love for electronics with music became a unique asset, allowing Queen to experiment confidently while maintaining technical excellence, ensuring their sound was as impactful live as it was in the studio. Beyond being Queen's bassist, John Deacon was a prolific songwriter, contributing some of the band's most memorable hits. His first major writing contribution came when Miss Fire in 1974, followed by the heartfelt You're My Best Friend, a song dedicated to his wife that became a timeless Queen classic. His biggest triumph was Another One Bites the Dust, a track inspired by his love for soul music, which became one of Queen's best-selling singles and expanded their reach to new audiences. John's songwriting style brought a fresh rhythm and groove to Queen's catalog, balancing the band's rock foundation with danceable beats. He regularly contributed songs throughout Queen's discography, ensuring his musical voice remained part of the band's evolution. John's work behind the scenes as a songwriter helped diversify Queen's sound, proving that even the quietest member of a band can create waves that redefine a band's direction and legacy. Then Freddie used to find it quite funny and amusing, and it actually sort of helped settle it and calm the atmosphere by making fun of it really. It was silly little things. John Deacon's musical talent extended far beyond playing bass. In the studio, he often picked up guitars, pianos, and even took on technical responsibilities to shape Queen's unique sound. His contributions included playing the Wurlitzer electric piano on You're My Best Friend and adding guitar layers when Brian May was unavailable. His technical expertise was invaluable, with John building essential equipment like the DC amp, which became a staple in Queen's sound, even used by Brian May for its distinctive tone. John's multi-instrumental abilities allowed the band to experiment with different sounds without limitations, adding depth to their recordings. He preferred fingerstyle bass playing, enhancing the groove and warmth in Queen's music, while occasionally using a pick for specific tracks. His commitment to refining Queen's sound, both technically and musically, highlighted his versatility and underscored his essential role in maintaining the band's high-quality performances throughout their storied career. Another One Bites the Dust and the creative process. Fasted it off in England, actually. We had some time off, and I'd always want to do something a little bit more that was more sort of disco-y, which was very uncool at the time. It wasn't the sort of thing, but luckily, in a way, it came out quite heavily. But I started it off with actually a completely different set of lyrics. It was all about cowboys, which is why the American phrase bites the dust came in really. But then I thought that was very silly. I never even got to show that to the band. I decided to change it before then. So I, changed the lyrics altogether. And, we recorded it in Munich. A lot of it, really. And Freddie helped out a little bit, said, "Oh, like you need something a little bit different there." But it was basically ultra simple, really. And, in fact, we used, a drum loop, for the thing. It was just so simple. And that's all I wanted all the way through. Just solid, really. And that was a way of doing it because it wasn't the sort of music everybody, we played it all really. And I think the band was as surprised as I was that it became so successful. I mean, especially in America. Freddie and John's quiet bond. Freddie Mercury and John Deacon shared a special bond that many didn't see, but deeply shaped Queen's dynamic. While Freddie was a flamboyant, larger-than-life performer, John was quiet, observant, and deeply loyal. Their friendship blossomed on tours, where Freddie often took John under his wing, understanding his reserved nature and ensuring he felt included within the band's high-energy environment. Freddie admired John's quiet determination and valued his musical instincts, while John respected Freddie's drive and creativity, allowing him to find his voice within the band. They often worked closely on songwriting and arrangements, especially during the creation of rhythm-driven songs. Freddie's belief in John helped him grow as an artist, and John's steady presence grounded Freddie in return. Their bond was built on trust and respect, a connection that added to Queen's synergy, allowing them to create music that resonated deeply with audiences worldwide while maintaining harmony within the band. The loss of Freddie Mercury. There was a different input as well, because, obviously everybody goes through stale patches where, you can't come up with much in the way of ideas. And then, if there's four of you writing, then there's some strength there somewhere which helps. Freddie Mercury's death in November 1991 was a devastating blow to John Deacon, marking a turning point that would eventually lead him to step away from public life. Freddie's passing from AIDS not only ended an era for Queen, but also deeply affected John, who would share a close and trusting friendship with Freddie throughout their years together. For John, Queen was not just about fame or music. It was about the people he shared that journey with, and Freddie's death left a void that he could not fill. While Brian May and Roger Taylor continued performing and celebrating Queen's legacy, John found it impossible to move forward without Freddie. The grief ran deep, and the loss of Freddie marked the beginning of John's gradual withdrawal from music as he struggled with the reality of losing a friend who had been a heart of their band and the music they created together. Fading from the spotlight. After Freddie's passing, John Deacon's presence in the public eye began to fade. He performed only a few more times with Queen, including at the 1992 Freddie Mercury tribute concert, where he emotionally thanked the artist and the crowd with the simple but powerful words, "The show must go on." His final performance with the band came in 1997 with No One But You, Only the Good Die Young, after which John chose to step away from the spotlight completely. Unlike Brian May and Roger Taylor, who continued to perform and carry on Queen's legacy, John preferred to live a quiet life, focusing on his family and personal peace. Despite stepping back, he remained involved in Queen's business matters, giving input when needed but avoiding public appearances. His decision to withdraw was not out of bitterness, but as a reflection of the deep grief and respect he held for the bond he shared with Freddie. John's behind-the-scenes involvement. Well, because he's very perfectionist and always wants to do. He always wants to do things in a big way. He doesn't want to do anything sort of that would be considered, small time or, So, whereas to some of us, the ideas seem a bit grandiose or over the top or, and we sometimes have to argue about these things really. Although John Deacon retired from public life, he continued to play an essential role in Queen's behind-the-scenes decisions. Brian May and Roger Taylor have confirmed that John remained involved in the band's financial and business matters, approving projects like the Bohemian Rhapsody biopic, while choosing not to participate publicly. His involvement ensured that the band's decisions stayed true to their legacy, reflecting his ongoing commitment to Queen despite his desire for privacy. John's careful oversight and input provided stability for the band's business affairs, allowing Brian and Roger to continue performing while respecting John's wish to stay out of the limelight. His continued involvement demonstrated his quiet dedication to band and his desire to protect Queen's legacy without seeking attention. A life of quiet peace. In doing so, John Deacon proved that one can remain an integral part of something legendary while choosing to live life on one's own terms with dignity and respect. John Deacon chose a path of quietude, stepping away from the spotlight to live a private and content life with his family in London. Friends and former bandmates have shared that John is at peace with his decision, preferring the calmness of personal life over the chaos of fame. Despite offers to rejoin Queen for tours and public appearances, John consistently declined, prioritizing his mental well-being and valuing the memories he created with Freddie Mercury and the band. His commitment to privacy allowed him to focus on what truly mattered to him, while still keeping a respectful distance from the industry that once defined his life. Those who know him describe John as content, living on his terms away from the pressures of public life, yet quietly honoring the past. His decision serves as a reminder that fulfillment sometimes comes not from continued fame, but from choosing peace over spotlight. Tour memories and legacy. Our first American tour, we had a station wagon, and we all got into it, and commercial flights here and there, and sharing rooms and holidays. We just didn't know what to expect when we got to the airport. It was mayhem, really, and it was quite an experience in a way to feel the Maine and the fans, and they're just screaming, They're all hanging out in the hotels, hiding behind curtains in the corridors, and everywhere we went, we got followed. First time we played in the Buddha Hall in Tokyo, the noise was just enormous because they sell all the seats behind you as well. And then we walked on. It was all screaming and throwing presents on the stage. John Deacon's legacy within Queen is a testament to quiet strength and unwavering dedication. His unique blend of technical skill, musical talent, and humility helped shape Queen's sound and success while maintaining the integrity of the band vision. His songwriting contributions brought new dimensions to the band's music, while his calm demeanor balanced the dynamic personalities within Queen. A quiet brilliance. His decision to step away from the limelight after Freddie Mercury's death was not an act of defeat, but a choice grounded in love and loyalty to his friend and the band they built together. John's continued involvement behind the scenes and commitment to protecting Queen's legacy showcases his enduring dedication. His story reminds us that true greatness does not always demand the spotlight. Sometimes it shines brightest in quiet contributions, steadfast loyalty, and the courage to walk away when the music has changed forever, leaving a lasting impact that continues to inspire generations. John Deacon's story is one of quiet brilliance, deep loyalty, and the courage to step back when the music that once defined him no longer felt the same. While the world continues to celebrate Queen's powerful legacy, it's important to remember the man whose quiet contributions made much of that magic possible. What's your favorite Queen song that reminds you of John's work and his bond with Freddie Mercury? Share your thoughts in the comment below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories of legends who shaped music history in ways that continue to inspire us.